Hello everyone out there. I hope and pray you guys are doing good. I warmly welcome you all to my channel Gurrutechsolutions. In today's video we will be learning about sample and sampling strategies. You might have come across these words in your academic reading and writing classes. Today we'll differentiate between these two words. Besides, we'll be discussing about two major types of sampling strategy. Let's begin our discussion by discussing population. In research, the population is the complete set of individuals, events, or objects that exhibit the behaviors and/or possess the characteristics of interest to the researcher. Do you know what is sample? If you really don't know the answer, here you go. The population is something broader, however. The subgroup or subset of population is called a sample. Selecting the entire population for research would not be possible in some cases, therefore the researcher selects few representators of the population. We must know the difference between sample and sampling. Therefore, let's define sampling strategy. The process of selecting this subgroup from the population is the sampling method or strategy. It means sampling is a process by which we choose our research participants. The sampling method should be as rigorous as possible to ensure minimum error and bias and to enhance maximum representativeness. The sampling strategy has been divided into two methods. 1. Probability sampling. What comes to your mind when you see the picture beside it? Think for a Similarly, the second method is non-probability sampling. Let's explain each type one by one, and within each type there are subtypes which will be discussed. So stay tuned. The very first type is probability sampling. This can be defined as probability sampling methods incorporate an aspect of random selection, which ensures that each case in the population has an equal likelihood of being selected. It means that this provides an equal opportunity to participants to be part of research. Now we will discuss types of probability sampling. It has four different types. The first one is simple random sampling. This is defined as each person in the population has an equal chance of being selected. The second type is systematic sampling. This focuses on selection based on a systematic algorithm, such as every 5th or 10th person will be part of your study. Likewise, the third type is stratified random sampling. This can be defined as sampling involves dividing the population into smaller groups called strata, which are formed based on shared and/or unique characteristics. A random sample from each stratum is selected proportional to the stratum's size in the population. Lastly, cluster sampling. Naturally occurring groups are selected as sampling clusters. For example, specific schools in a district may be selected rather than all schools in the district. The second type is non-probability sampling. It can be defined as non-probability sampling. Methods use an approach in which the sample is selected based on the subjective judgment of the researcher instead of using random selection. It means that participants do not get equal opportunity to be part of your research. Now we will discuss the types of non-probability sampling one by one. The first type is quota sampling, based on identifying strata with shared or unique characteristics of the population and selecting persons proportionate to the population. Likewise, the second type of non-probability sampling is purposive sampling, uses sampling techniques that rely on the researcher's judgment for selecting persons. These techniques include maximum variation sampling, expert sampling, and typical case sampling. Similarly, the third type is self-selection sampling. Researchers specify required inclusion/exclusion criteria and persons from the population choose to participate based on free will. Lastly, we have snowball sampling, strategy in which existing participants recruit future participants from others they know. Strategy is often used for hard-to-recruit populations. One must to keep these questions and answers in mind while selecting appropriate sample for their studies. The first column include questions both for probability and no probability sampling. I would argue to take screenshot and read them thoroughly. Moreover, I would argue to keep it same in your desktop or cell phone, since this would help you to recall these information with the passage of time. Last but not the least, the most important point to bear in mind, since many researchers get confused when it comes to selecting sampling strategy for their studies. The quantitative research questions lend to either probability or non-probability sampling methods. This means that for your quantitative study you can select both probability and non-probability sampling techniques. However, for the qualitative study, we are bounded to select only non-probability sampling methods. In simple words, qualitative study cannot be done using probability sampling methods. This leads to false outcomes. I hoped you understood the concept. For more, stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe this channel. See you in next video. Till that, take care. Allah Hafiz.